This sous vide bone-in pork chops recipe deserves your full attention. And this delicious jalapeno ranch dressing, well, I guarantee you will absolutely not be able to get enough of it. So join me, Crazy Jenna here, as I show you in my kitchen how to make some pork chops, bone-in style, cooked sous vide. And don't forget to subscribe to the sipbitego channel on YouTube to get my latest sous vide recipes. I'm cooking up so many delicious things like this recent sous vide asparagus tutorial. And more of my recipes are in the Home Chef Sous Vide cookbook. So the first thing that I want to share with you how to do is how to make that delicious jalapeno ranch dressing to go on those sous vide bone-in pork chops. You're going to make it and you're going to pop it in the fridge so it's ready when the sous vide pork chops are ready. Now, you can make the sauce up to a day in advance. It'll taste really good. Just give it a little bit stir before you put it on the pork chop. So let's get to making that jalapeno ranch dressing. I love a good sauce for sous vide pork recipes. So here we go. I just grabbed my little NutriBullet and I started putting in the fresh cilantro, and then in went the sour cream and then some more sour cream. You really can't have enough because that chilled creaminess is what makes this really good against the nice salty pork chops. So then in went some diced jalapeno with the seeds removed, and as you see, lots of seasonings go on top. I am always making a mess in the kitchen, and then a little bit of spices on top of that, just all your pantry staples here, and it's time to blend that all together. Give it a little whirl in the blender to make the little ranch dressing. I love the jalapeno, but you could use other flavors as well. You could skip the jalapeno since it has all that cilantro and just not make it spicy. You could really play this up with different ingredients that you have in your pantry. And then I like to, like I said, put it in a bowl, set that aside in the fridge so it stays nice and cool, because something about that really cool, creamy dressing on the sous vide bone-in pork chops is delicious. And doesn't it look beautiful? I always save a little bit of cilantro to throw on top so people know that there's cilantro in it, because you know there are definitely cilantro haters out there, and it just makes a little bowl with the condiment for the sous vide pork chops look delicious. So that's going in the fridge, and it'll be ready to put on the sous vide pork chops when they come out. So now I'm going to take you into the kitchen, and I'm going to share with you how to make those sous vide pork chops. And the first thing that we're going to start with is vacuum sealing them. I like the way you sous vide it, no diggity. I like to bag it up. And if you have no idea what I was singing there, you are probably not a child of the 90s. But anyway, so these had a little bit of marinade on them. I used a different pork chop for this, but you can use some just salt and pepper to put on that sous vide pork chop. It's going to taste delicious because the sauce and all the flavors that you have later. But anyways, you put those pork chops in the vacuum seal bag. I like to make sure the vacuum seal bag is big enough to hold all the pork chops, but so they're not touching when the vacuum seal happens. And always make sure if you're using a vacuum seal to clean out that area, make sure there's no liquid right there so the vacuum sealer can do its really good job making sure all the liquid is staying in the bag and making sure that the seal on the top looks great. And you see I put my fingers in there so the pork chops would be separated in the bag. And thank you so much to Food Saver. They gave me this Food Saver 4400 vacuum sealer with a partnership I did with them. Still working quite a while later. And so into the bath, the sous vide bone-in pork chops go. And they cook. It actually doesn't take long at all. These pork chops are about 1.5 inches thick, and they sous vide at 140 degrees, which is my favorite temperature for sous vide pork chops at the moment anyways, because they still come out really juicy and tender and they're not overdone. So once they're done cooking, they go into an ice bath, which will stop the cooking and chill them out. And, oh, just a reminder, they were in the sous vide bath for about 2.5 hours. So then they are shocked in the ice bath for about 2 minutes, and you can remove the pork chops from the bag. You can ditch any herbs or anything else that you put in there, and you pat the pork chops dry, which makes it so that when you finish pork chops, either in a pan or when you finish sous vide pork chops on the grill or wherever you finish them, that the outside is going to get nice and crisp and the inside is going to stay nice and tender. So into a pan goes melted butter. Here I'm using a cast iron skillet. You can see here the butter goes in. It's really hot. It's sizzling. Make sure that gets everywhere. And then it's time for the sous vide pork chops to get finished in the cast iron pan. So I just put them directly in that butter. It's on medium-high heat. My kitchen's getting a little bit smoky, but Chef Hubs, when we first started dating and I wasn't really as great as a cook as I am today, he told me not to be afraid of heat. If the fire alarm is going off, then it means that you're going to cook something delicious. So that's the motto I live by, and look how nice and textured on the outside. Those are crisp pork chops on the outside, but it's going to taste so good inside. Now, if you use a nonstick pan, it's not going to look as good as these do. You really want to use a cast iron skillet if you have one available. And then it's time to let those pork chops cool for about 10 minutes on a cutting board so they are going to be able to retain all that juiciness inside, and then you can go ahead and slice them. And I was just like, what do I want to present these on? I love plating food, and this sous vide pork chop bone-in recipe is so beautiful. I wasn't sure, but I chose these gray plates that I absolutely love, and then on with that delicious jalapeno ranch dressing sauce. And I sprinkled a little bit extra cilantro on top. It was really simple, but this was a really good, delicious weeknight meal, and even my toddler enjoyed them. Now, toddlers don't really like chewy or hard to eat food, and the inside of this sous vide bone-in pork chop was so tender, so soft, so easy for the little toddler to eat. He really enjoyed this meal as much as we did. I did not give him the jalapeno sauce, as you can imagine. Whenever we give him anything with pepper on it, he starts, well, not on purpose, but if there's even like cracked pepper, we've learned not to give it to him because he'll like just start wiping his tongue. So, you know, that's only something you find out after it happens once, unfortunately. But anyways, so we didn't give him the jalapeno sauce, but we devoured this jalapeno ranch dressing. So I think if you're gonna make sous vide pork chops with a sauce, you wanna choose a sauce for the pork chops that's going to really complement the flavors. And I think that having a little bit of the heat from the jalapeno, but then the coolness of the sour cream is really a perfect combination. And oh my goodness, we were putting this on quesadillas, we were putting it on corn, we were doing so much with this jalapeno ranch dressing. I made a bunch of it, but it really lasted us for a few days. And oh, we even put it on salad, which was really delicious. So I hope that this really walks you through how to make these delicious sous vide bone-in pork chops, and I hope that you love your pork chops. I mean, these are so delicious. And if you're interested in other sauces for sous vide pork chops, you should check out sipbitego.com or pick up a copy of the Home Chef Sous Vide Cookbook, because I also have a really delicious Carolina barbecue, and that's like a yellow mustard barbecue sauce. It's so good. Oh my God, look how good this came out. I know it's a really messy plate. I don't know if you enjoy looking at it, but oh, here I'm showing you that, yeah, I added a little salad to this. There's the dressing on there. Oh, it's so good. Here's the Carolina barbecue sauce that I was talking about. I also really like making it with my sous vide food. Don't forget to subscribe to the Sip Bite Go channel on YouTube for more delicious restaurant-style meals you can make at home. Well, I can't wait for you to try this sous vide bone-in pork chops recipe and that killer jalapeno ranch dressing. It is so good. You're gonna be putting that on everything for the rest of the week once you make it. And don't forget to print out the step-by-step directions for this recipe and all the sous vide recipes at sipbitego.com. Well, until next time, I hope you have a wonderful and delicious day. Cheers! Don't forget to check out one of these awesome other recipe videos. I've been making so many videos for you. I can't wait for you to see them.